Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Tomlinson, aka DishNet34 here, welcoming you to the first episode of This Week in Perfect Team for Perfect Team 24. How is it going, everybody? It is great to be back. Whoo, Nelly! Get the hype train going in here because it is time in less than, less than 15 hours. Things are going to get started for Perfect Team 24. Woo, and everything's going to get started. Oh, man. I'm excited. I hope y'all are. Oh, man. Hopefully y'all are having a great day today. Hopefully y'all have been enjoying the beta so far of Perfect Team 24 and Out of the Park Baseball 24 in general for those of you who pre-ordered the game for that 3-day early access. So far, so good. There's been, couple of bugs we've had to squash a little bit, but we're going to be ready to go for tomorrow. So today we're going to go over the launch details for Perfect Team 24 specifically, as well as the live mission rewards that you will see at the beginning of the cycle. So that's going to be pretty good. So you know what, guys? Let's go ahead and get started right from the top. Will there be a patch for tomorrow? More than likely, yes. It'll be the first public release. So that's my guess. Great Scott. That is my guess at the moment. But I'm not the guy to confirm that. I would probably, if Nico or Alex are in here in the chat, they'd probably confirm it a lot better. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and tell you guys what you guys can expect with the launch of Perfect Team 24 tomorrow. So let's get started. So this is kind of the timeline of what you will see with the PT24 launch. So at approximately 2 to 3 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow morning, March 24th, that's about 5 to 6 hours from now, all of the PT24 beta teams will be reset and simulation servers will be shut down. Now, they're going to come back up around 7 a.m. Eastern 10 hours from now, and you can log in using the same PT23 username and email combo to qualify for loyalty rewards, or you could register a new account, set up a brand new team, etc. Your choice as to what you want to do. Now, perfect point purchases, they should be available at that time as well. So there's that. Now, the game is expected to launch. We will let you know exactly when it launches, both on social media, on Discord, on the forums. 9 a.m. Eastern. That is the time that we are aiming for. Worldwide release. Just 12 hours from now. On Steam, Epic, and for FastSpring web store customers. And 3 hours after that, to kind of allow people to get in, get things downloaded, get things situated, the first entry pool leagues will be created at noon Eastern tomorrow. So that's about 15 hours from now. You get the loyalty rewards even if you don't start your team until Monday, correct? That is correct. There is no deadline to redeem the loyalty rewards that we talked about on Monday. So there's a little bit of like the timeline that you can expect, starting at like 2 to 3 a.m. Eastern, all the way up to noon Eastern with the first entry pool leagues being created. So there's going to be a little bit of a delay between 9 a.m. and noon for when things will get started, just to allow everyone to come in, get situated, get ready for their teams, all that good stuff as well. Now, after this first 3-day period from Friday to Sunday, this is going to be the first promotion period. So on Monday, March 27th, we will be populating the first 5 levels: Rookie, Stone, Iron, Bronze, and Silver. And that's going to be based on team winning percentage compiled in the entry pool. Now, this is kind of the same thing that we did last year when Perfect Team launched. Now, teams with less than 30 games in the entry pool will automatically start in Rookie League. So there's that as well. Simulations will begin at 10 a.m. Eastern as usual for the daily stuff. On Friday, March 31st, so that's a week from tomorrow, the 10% launch week discount will end. And for those who pre-ordered OOTP24 from Fast Spring, Friday, March 31st at 8 a.m. Eastern is also the deadline to claim your pre-order gold pack. That does not affect, and again, that does not affect any of the loyalty rewards, the loyalty packs that you would get that we discussed on Monday. And I see we do have a question about OOTP Go. Alex says it in the chat. We are trying to get OOTP Go around as quickly as possible. Should be sometime soon. We will let you know, but it's not going to be this big freaking delay like there was last year. I'll say that much. All right, so, and again, if you registered in PT23, you just log in with your PT23 accounts with the same ID and password. So, there's that. All right, now, couple of notes on some Perfect Team services that we have been advertising. Now, PT Plus will be live at launch. That's right, PT Plus will be live at launch and can be purchased from inside the Perfect Team mode. Now, bit of a thing that we need to kind of point out with Perfect Team Plus, and it's really the only quote-unquote issue, is because people won't be able to buy PT Plus before their first login, which is when the first day login bonus begins. So they won't get so those who purchase PT Plus won't get the double pack with that first. So I'm just butchering this explanation. So let me get my thoughts together on this. So the daily login bonus so pretty much no double packs the first day. Everything else after that will be normal, pretty much, because the login reward kicks in when you first log in. There we go. Hopefully that makes sense. Does it make sense? If it doesn't, let me know, and I'm going to try to clarify on that. So yeah, so pretty much no double packs for PT Plus customers on the immediate day one login because you can't buy before the login. There we go. Now, PT Live. Let's talk about PT Live. The feature is still under development and will likely, unfortunately, not be quite ready for MLB opening day. However, we are going to launch PT Live as soon as possible after opening day, following a short private, then a public beta. Twitch drops. We are working on having Twitch drops ready as soon as possible. We are aiming for tomorrow, but we will let you know. Stay tuned to this space tomorrow. We're gonna hope for tomorrow, but it will be ready as soon as possible. Alrighty, so there's just a few notes on that as well. So stay tuned to this space tomorrow. Once the game launches, we'll be good to go. All right, now, before we get started with the content tonight, we want to thank our friends over at Baseball Reference. And Baseball Reference, oh my goodness, Stathead Baseball. You can use the code 23OOTP25 for $25 off an annual baseball or all sports subscription right here. Offer expires July 1st, 2023. You can save $25 off. That's a pretty big amount for such a valuable resource for stat nerds like us. All right, because I like my stats. I know y'all like stats. We love Baseball Reference around these parts. We're going to have a partnership with them later on this year. That's going to be pretty darn good right here. Oh, man. So use code 23OOTP25 at StatHead for $25 off an annual baseball or all sport subscription. Pretty cool stuff. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of tonight. The live mission rewards. Alrighty. What rewards are you guys going to be seeing in the live missions this year? Now, before we go through the live mission rewards, let's talk about, for those of you who are brand new to Perfect Team, those of you who are just starting out with the year, what exactly are live missions? Now, live missions, these are missions based around collecting MLB live cards in the game. Now, missions are going to be split into 2 tiers. There's going to be live level 1 and live level 2, each with their own card rewards. There are level 1 and level 2 missions for each individual team, division, and for the whole league, each with their own card rewards. And I can confirm that with each of those 2 tiers, you do not need every card. You do not need every card with live level 1 or live level 2. So there's that. Now we are going to show off some of the live level 1 rewards and some of the live level 2 rewards. We got one from each division for the individual teams for both the live level 1 and live level 2, and then we're going to go through the division rewards and the whole league rewards. So let's go ahead and get started here. And yes, there's going to be a lot of low level stuff in here, all right? So we're going to start with some of the live level 1 rewards. And we're going to go through we're going to go 1 team per division. So we're going to go 1 AL West, 1 AL Central, etc., etc., etc. But we aren't going to share all of them. We don't have time for that, but we do have a list. We do have lists of all of the live level 1 and live level 2 individual team rewards. So, here we go. Let's start out with one of the AL West teams, and we go to the Seattle Mariners for this one right here. Our first live level 1 reward of the evening, a very great defender out in the outfield. The live level 1 reward for the Seattle Mariners is going to be 74 overall, Franklin Gutierrez. Death to flying things himself. 71 BABIP, 52 power, 50 avoid K, 68 contact, 44 gap, and 48 I. A lot better against lefties than he is against righties. You're going to get 77 BABIP, 69 power, 68 avoid K, 85 contact, 48 gap power, and 59 I against lefties here. So pretty big splits right here. But look at that defense over there in center field. 96 outfield range, 62 error, 62 outfield arm. Pretty good stuff right there, especially, since center field is a big premium defensive position in Perfect Team. That's going to be a big help to a lot of teams early on. 63 speed, 79 stealing, 71 base running, sack, bunt for hit ratings, just around the middle right here. And Gutierrez qualified to learn left field and right field. Now, Franklin Gutierrez, the 2009 season, a big breakout year for Franklin Gutierrez. Let me get his stats here. 283 average, 339, 425 on his slash line, 18 homers, 70 RBI, 6.6 wins above replacement. This was a career year for Franklin Gutierrez at age 26. Had career highs in homers, RBI, batting average, and hits. Led MLB in some defensive categories as well, including UZR and UZR 150. Pretty much this guy tracked down a whole ton of fly balls in the outfield. Pretty good stuff right there. He also finished 6th in the American League in wins above replacement. And this was Franklin Gutierrez's first season in Seattle after being traded from Cleveland. Now, if I recall correctly, where's that transaction page? Where is it? Transactions. Here we go. Pretty much this was part of a trade. Oh man, this is a big trade right here. So this was part of a 3-team trade with Cleveland, Seattle, and the New York Mets. So this was Seattle sending Shawn Green, J.J. Putz, and Jeremy Reed to the Mets, with the Mariners sending Luis Valbuena to Cleveland. Then the Mets sent Mike Carp, Ezekiel Carrera, Endy Chavez, Michael Cleto, Aaron Heilman, Jason Vargas to the Mariners, and the New York Mets sending Joe Smith to Cleveland as well. Gutierrez going from Cleveland to Seattle as well in that one. That was a big trade right there. That was a big old trade right there. And EVC with some facts in the chat. Previously, LA refused to include Gutierrez in a deal over the winter that would have landed the Dodgers' Richie Sexson. Ooh. Wow. Yeah, for like a year that looked like an incredible haul for Seattle, and then they cratered in 2020. Yeah. But either way, Franklin Gutierrez, big member of the outfield, kind of injury prone during most of his time in Seattle, but man, when he was healthy, he was an electric center fielder. And hopefully he is electric for your perfect team early on. Franklin Gutierrez in perfect team 24. So now that we've got the Mariners out of the way, let's go ahead and move over to one of the teams in the NL Central. And we go to the Chicago Cubs for their live level 1 reward. And we go to a very famous name in Chicago Cubs history for this one, ladies and gentlemen. 75 overall, third baseman from the 1969 Chicago Cubs, Ron Santo. 63 BABIP, 79 power, 62 avoid K, 77 contact, 44 gap power, 81 on the eye. Some very interesting splits here for this right-handed hitter. Getting a little more power against righties, you're getting a little more eye against lefties here. 81 power versus 72 power. Righties versus lefties here. Gonna get a little bit more avoid K against righties. Gonna get a little more contact against lefties here. Defensively, not exactly the best defense in the world. 60 range, 43 error, 69 arm, 49 on the turn double play. 13 speed, 8 stealing, and 59 on the base running. Now, Ron Santo, this was a pretty good year for him. 289, 384, 485 on his slash line. Kind of a middle, like late middle career, Ron Santo here. 29 homers, 123 RBI, 5.5 wins above replacement. He was an all-star this year. He finished 5th in the MVP vote this year, had career highs in RBIs, led MLB in sac flies with 14 of them, and this was the year in which he hit his 250th career homer, which he did on August 23rd. So, not a bad card right here. Ron Santo from the 1969 Chicago Cubs in perfect team 23. All right, so let's go ahead and stay in the Central Division for our next live level 1 reward card. And boy, if you want to talk about some power in the lineup, and you want to talk about, some of the bigger power hitters of the 90s, look no further. Well, maybe one of the more, maybe lesser known, but maybe more enigmatic power hitters in baseball in the 90s. Look no further than our next card from the 1993 Cleveland team, 78 overall, left fielder, Albert Bell. Albert Bell, 51 BABIP, 92 power, 53 avoid K, 70 contact, 71 gap power, 70 on the eye. Look at the splits against lefties right here. 99 power against left-handed pitching. Gonna get a little more avoid K against lefties. Gonna get a little more contact. You got 81 contact against lefties here. 62 BABIP compared to 47 BABIP against righties. 72 gap, 75 eye as well against lefties. Defensively, meh out there in left field. 50 range, 62 errors, 72 outfield arm. Is qualified to learn right field as well. Speed, stealing, and base running though, not bad at all. 80 speed, 75 stealing, 81 base running. He can steal a few bases here and there. That is not bad for a live level 1 reward here. Now, Albert Bell, this is kind of, I believe, earlier career Albert Bell, if I recall correctly. Nope, this is his third kind of full season with Cleveland, but second year in a row, he had 30 plus homers, had 38 homers, 129 RBI, had a 290 average this year, which was pretty darn good. 4.7 wins above replacement. He was an all-star, Silver Slugger, finished 7th in AL MVP during the 1993 season. He led MLB in RBI that year with 129. However, Cleveland finishing 6th in the AL East that year. Yeah, he was a fantasy god that year. Had 23 stolen bags as well. So, not a bad season for Albert Bell. Set a career high in stolen bases that year with that 23 mark. Had 36 doubles, 172 hits, and he pretty much just hit homers like there was no tomorrow from there on out. This is the second of 8 years in a row that he had more than 30 homers in a year. So, he had 38 this in 1993, 36 in 94, 50 of them in 95, 48 in 96, 30 in 97, 49 in 98. Just a lot of dingers. Lot of dingers. So there you go. Albert Bell, the live level 1 reward for the Cleveland Guardians is in Perfect Team 24. Bell tried to refuse going to first on a hit by pitch because he wanted to hit. Wow. That is crazy right there. Goodness gracious. Alrighty, next up, let's go out west and go to the NL West for our next Team Live Level 1 reward. And kind of an, I guess, underrated shortstop of the 1970s from the San Francisco Giants. He is their live level 1 reward. And ladies and gentlemen, it is 81 overall, Chris Spire from the 1972 San Francisco Giants. 64 BABIP, 57 power, 60 avoid K, 68 contact, 58 gap power, and 84 on the eye. So you're going to get a pretty decent amount of eye from this guy. Look at the defense over here at short. 91 range, 75 error, 83 arms, 76 on the turn double play. That's not bad. That is not bad for an entry-level kind of mission reward shortstop here for the live missions here. 42 speed, 44 stealing, 51 base running, so not going to get a whole lot in the speed department from Chris Spire, but pretty much known for his defense. He's qualified to learn second and third as well, so you got a little bit of flexibility there if you want to use him at second and third. He's got the range for it. He's got the arm for it. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. 1972, this was an early Chris Spire season. In fact, this was only his second year in the big leagues, and it was his first All-Star selection in 1972. Hit 269, 361, 400 with 15 homers, 71 RBI for 6.1 WAR that year. That's pretty darn good in the 70s from a second-year player. He actually got MVP votes. Well, I should say MVP votes. He really didn't get any first-place votes, but he did get a vote for MVP from somebody. Don't know who. That's not bad, though. Career highs in homers, hits, RBI, walks, and OPS plus in just his second season in the league. Yeah, probably a San Francisco beat writer more than likely gave him that vote, but Because, you know beat writers. Yeah, he only beat me by 1 vote that year. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he had 1 vote for MVP, joining the 1 vote likes of Jose Cardinal and Fergie Jenkins in 1972. So, pretty cool stuff right there. But Chris Spire, he had a long career in the big leagues. Went up all the way until 1989. Pretty much, had some Gold Glove caliber defense for much of his career, especially when he went to Montreal back in the late 70s, early 80s. Yeah, he was just very good with the glove. Not necessarily great with the bat. He had some good seasons here and there with the bat, but, this was probably his best offensive season by far, really. I mean, 4.9 offensive WAR in 1972, far and away his best offensive year. So there you go. Chris Spire from the 1972 San Francisco Giants, the live level 1 reward for the Giants in Perfect Team 24. All right, next up, we got a couple of live level 1 rewards to show off tonight. And our next player on the docket is going to be, oh man, let's go with the AL East for this one. AL East for this one. And we go to Tampa Bay, and we have a pitcher for the first time here for the live level 1 rewards. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 2011 Tampa Bay Rays, it is 82 overall righty James Shields. James Shields, 78 stuff, 68 movement, 82 control with a 66 home run rating, 65 pitcher BABIP rating. Kind of some interesting splits here. 70 movement against lefties to 67 movement against righties. Gonna get a little bit more of an HR split versus lefties than you are against righties by just 3 points or so. Control, you're gonna get a little bit more against lefties than you will against righties right here. Fastball, curveball, changeup, sinker, and cutter combo right here. 92 stamina, 67 on the hold runners. James Shields, 2011 season. 2011 season. Pretty good one for Mr. Shields here in his next to last season in Tampa Bay. This was his lone all-star year of his career, which kind of fascinated me. But honestly, looking at the numbers, definitely one of his best seasons pretty much ever, really. 16-12 with a 2.82 ERA, 8.1 strikeouts per 9, 2.3 walks per 9, and a 1.34 ERA plus. He was an all-star that year, 3rd in AL Cy Young voting, 16th in American League MVP voting, led MLB in complete games with 11 of them. 11 complete games for James Shields in 2011. That's just absolutely insane. Led the AL in shutouts as well with 4 of them. Had a 1.043 whip, which was just mind-bogglingly low for his career. 5.8 wins above replacement. Not bad. Not bad. And yeah, we'll not discuss his time with Chicago later on in his career, or how he got worse after giving up the home run to Bartolo Colon in 20 whatever. But James Shields, a very influential pitcher for the Rays back in this time period. 2011, very good year for him. And hopefully he'll be very good for your Perfect Team rotation here in Perfect Team 24 as the level 1 reward for the Tampa Bay Rays. All right, now let's stay out east for our final look at a live level 1 reward card from the individual teams. And oh man, this is a good one right here. We talked about having some power in the lineup before. Well, guess what? Here's some power right here. We go to the New York Mets live level 1 reward. And that, my friends, is 88 overall, 3rd baseman, Howard Johnson. Howard Johnson, 65 BABIP, 98 power, 53 avoid K, 83 contact, 82 gap power, and 68 on the eye. A little bit better in some categories against righties than he is against lefties. You're going to get a lot more power against righties here. Going to get some more contact, some more gap power, but you're going to get some more eye against lefties on this one. Yeah, also a hotelier and a restaurateur. You know, Howard Johnson, you know, maybe not that Howard Johnson, but he got around. He definitely got around in business there, yeah. Had so much power they named a hotel after him. He did it all. He did it all. Can play third base and shortstop. Play being the operative word here. 57 range, 51 error, 62 infield arm, and 51 turn double play. And folks, if you play Howard Johnson at shortstop, tag me on social media. I'd love to see how that goes. 84 speed, 87 stealing, 89 on the base running. This guy cannot bunt at all. 3-sack bunt, 2 bunt for hit. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't bunt. Just don't bunt. Just don't. Not with this guy, at least. 287, 369, 559 for Hojo this year. 36 homers, 101 RBI, 6.9. Some nice wins above replacement right there. He was an All-Star in 1989, his first All-Star selection. Won the Silver Slugger Award over at third. Finished 5th in the National League MVP vote. And it was a pretty distant third. Well, pretty distant 5th. Ryan Sandberg, Pedro Guerrero, Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell above him in that voting. Led the National League in runs scored that year and had a career high in hits this year with 164 in that 1989 season. Now, there are some people who would say that his 91 season was maybe better. 38 homers, 117 RBI, but had a lesser batting average. Still got 5th in MVP in 1991, but 1989 season, probably his best year where he made probably some consistent contact. I mean, BABIP that year for him was 308 compared to the 257 BABIP in 91, so something to consider right there. Yeah, and Howard Johnson also a switch hitter. So that could factor into a lot of managerial decisions with Howard Johnson as a card. So there you go. Howard Johnson, the live level 1 reward for the New York Mets in Perfect Team 24. All right, folks. Now, that's just a preview of some of the live level 1 rewards that you're going to see. But here are the names. I'm going to go ahead and take myself off the screen just really quickly so you can see these better. Here's the complete list of live level 1 team rewards. Dwight Evans for Boston. Thurman Munson for the Yankees. You saw James Shields earlier for the Rays. Eric Bedard for Baltimore. You got Chris Colabello for the Blue Jays. Justin Verlander for the Tigers. A 2007 Justin Verlander. 78, you got Albert Bell for Cleveland. You got Alex Fernandez for the White Sox. You got Amos Otis for Kansas City. Camilo Pascal for Minnesota. Blue Moon Odom for Oakland. 70 overall card there. Texas going to get second baseman Julio Franco. Chuck Finley for the Angels. Dave Smith for Houston. And you saw Franklin Gutierrez earlier for Seattle. As for the National League teams, you got Ralph Garr for Atlanta, Tommy Green for Philadelphia, Sean Barry for Washington, Luis Castillo for Miami. Luis Castillo, sneaky contact hitting card right there. You saw Howard Johnson for the Mets. Over in the NL Central, you got Dots Miller for Pittsburgh, Ron Santo, like you saw earlier, for Chicago, for the Cubs. Mark Whitten, hard-hitting Mark Whitten for the Cardinals. Cincinnati going to get catcher Jason LaRue. Milwaukee, Graham Lloyd will be the reward over there. For the Dodgers, 87 overall, Pedro Martinez, a reliever. Pedro Martinez as a live level 1 reward. Oh, that should be a spicy card right there. Ubaldo Jimenez, 2010 Ubaldo Jimenez for Colorado. Connor Jackson, very underrated first baseman from those mid-aughts Arizona teams. He's going to be their live level 1 reward. Chris Spire, like you just saw a little bit earlier for San Fran. And Luke Gregerson out of the bullpen for San Diego. So there you go. There's the complete list of live level 1 team rewards. Now let's move on up a little bit. And let's start talking about the level 2 rewards for some of these teams. And this is where you start getting to some more quality live mission reward cards right here. Will Live 1 have toppers? We will be getting to that later on tonight, Josh, because there will be division toppers for Live Level 1 and Live Level 2. So stay tuned. We'll get there. All right, so let's go to some of the Level 2 team rewards, and let's start back out in the AL East. And let's go to the Great North. Let's go to Toronto for their Live Level 2 reward. And folks, this was one that I was hoping that there would be a decent card for him. But you know what? Seeing as he was, the subject of a very well-known online sports documentary earlier in 2022, ladies and gentlemen, righty starter from the 1984 Toronto Blue Jays, it is 91 overall, Dave Stieb, Captain Ahab himself. 102 stuff, 83 movement, 76 home run rating, 86 BABIP, and 61 control. Look at the stuff. Look at the stuff on this card right here. 106 stuff against righties, 96 against lefties. Gonna get a little more movement against lefties right here. 84 movement, 82 movement against righties. You got 77 versus 73 HR between lefty and righty. Gonna get a little more BABIP against righties here. 91 to 81 against lefties. And same control against both sides. 61 and 61. Fastball, slider, curveball, changeup, and sinker combo on Dave Stieb right here. Oh man, Dave Stieb. If you have not seen what Secret Base did with their Captain Ahab series, please, I beg of you, go watch it. It is a fantastic documentary done by John Boyes and Alex Rubenstein. But Dave Stieb, this guy, bit of a hard luck career, all things considered, but man, he was probably the best pitcher that Toronto had prior to Roy Halladay. Like, he was that good of a pitcher and got consistently screwed in Cy Young Award voting. My goodness. Because this guy was absolutely insane at his peak. And 1984 was a very good year for Dave Stieb. Had a 16-8 record, 2.83 ERA. The strikeout rate was actually his best strikeout rate of his career, 6.7 strikeouts per 9. Walk rate a little bit up there with 3 walks per 9, but 146 ERA plus, second best of his career, next to 1985, the very next year when he had a 171 ERA plus. He was an all-star in 1984. That was his 4th all-star trip in 1984. 7th in AL Cy Young Award voting, even though he led the league in pitching WAR with 7.9. Because, Willie Hernandez had a great season coming out of the bullpen for the Tigers. That's about the only reason why he didn't get the Cy Young. And even then, he led MLB in innings pitched with 267. He led the majors in ERA plus as well. Led in hits per 9. He led in hits per 9 with 7.2. That's not bad. So there you go. Dave Stieb, probably one of the best Toronto Blue Jays pitchers, honestly, of all time. He is the live level 2 reward for the Toronto Blue Jays, and he is in perfect team 24. Oh, wow. Someone in our chat was at the game at Old Comiskey where Steve carried a no-hitter to the ninth, but then gave up back-to-back homers to Rudy Law and Brian Little. Wow. Wow. That is crazy. Wow. That is awesome. Even though Dave Steve did not get the no-hitter in that game, that's pretty awesome. All right. Next up, let's go to the AL Central for our next individual team live level 2 reward. And the next in our and you know what, let's get some more power bats. Let's get some more power bats with our live mission rewards, because we have 93 overall first baseman from the 1974 Chicago White Sox, Dick Allen. Dick Allen, 69 BABIP, 109 power, 56 avoid K, 91 contact, 63 gap power, 60 on the eye. Look at the power against lefties coming from a live level 2 reward card here. 118 power. 118 power against lefties. That is insane. Absolutely insane. Not getting a lot of BABIP against lefties, though, but you're going to get some BABIP against righties as well. 74 BABIP against righties, 54 against lefties. 72 avoid K against lefties compared to just 50 against righties. However, you're going to get a little bit more contact against righties than against lefties. Gap power, just a 1-point difference there. Eye, just a couple point difference there. Edge on that going to lefties there. First base defense isn't bad. 61 infield range, 24 error, 42 arm, 41 turn double play. Technically eligible to learn third base as well. If you play him at third base, tag me on social media. I'd love to see you try. Holy cats. 24 speed, 79 stealing, 72 on the base running. That is not bad at all. Dick Allen, 1974 season for Dick Allen. Had a 301, 375, 563 slash line in his final year in Chicago. He had a 3-year stint there in Chicago. Had 32 homers, 88 RBI, and 3.8 wins above replacement that year. He was an all-star that year. Got a MVP vote or two. Led the American League in home runs in 1974 with that 32 mark. Led him in OPS as well with 938, and actually led MLB in slugging percentage that year with a 563 mark. Man, oh man. Guy, big power hitter of the 60s and the 70s a little bit. Had some, I want to say, disputes with Chicago after this season, in which he got, let me recall the story here. So basically, he left the team near the end of the season because there was a feud with him and Ron Santo, which is kind of ironic given we've seen Santo earlier on in this stream. So the White Sox sold his contract to the Braves, but then he refused to report to the Braves in 75 and retired, but then he came out of retirement with the Phillies for the 75 season. It was a whole crazy situation there, but this guy was one of the best power hitters of the 60s and 70s right here. Dick Allen, 1974 Chicago White Sox, final All-Star year of his career with this 1974 season. He is in Perfect Team 24. All right, next up, let's go to the NL East. Let's go to the NL East for a live level 2 reward, and we go to the Miami Marlins live level 2 reward. And let me tell you, this is probably one of my favorite pitchers of the live level 2 individual team rewards here. And this is 94 overall righty starter from the 2010 Florida Marlins. It is Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson, 83 stuff, 97 movement, 96 HR rating, 59 BABIP, and 69 9 control. These are some interesting splits right here. 88 stuff, 98 movement, 75 control against righties. This guy is gonna suppress some home runs here. This guy's gonna suppress some homers right here. 95 HR rating against lefties, 97 HR rating against righties. The BABIP's gonna be a little bit on the low side though, kind of like in the median range. 55 against lefties, 63 BABIP against righties here. Fastball, slider, changeup combo on Josh Johnson, 72 stamina, 54 on the hold runners. Now 2010, now Josh Johnson, I guess his career was very unlucky, and it was mainly due to injuries. Man, I tell you, if this guy was healthy, this guy probably would have been one of the best pitchers of the late aughts and early 2010s. Heck, maybe even mid 2010s, because, last time he played in the majors was in 2013 at just 29. This guy, injuries really robbed him of his career. But 2010, I think maybe either the first or the second season, 2009 was probably the first season, but the second season in 2010, when things really started to get put together for Josh Johnson in his career. Man, oh man. The 11-6 record, a 2.30 ERA. 2.30 ERA, which led the National League, by the way, in 28 starts. 9.1 strikeouts per 9, highest of it, second highest of his career. Man, oh man, 2.4 walks per 9, 180 ERA plus, his highest in a full season. Led MLB in FIP, fielding independent pitching, with a 2.41 mark. And he led MLB in home runs per 9 in that 2010 season with 0.3. He only gave up 7 homers in 183 innings. That is absolutely crazy right here. He was an all-star this year, finished 5th in the NL Cy Young Award voting, led the NL in ERA plus, led MLB in FIP and homers per 9, 7 wins above replacement. This guy, probably one of the best pitchers that you are going to see with the individual team rewards. This guy is going to be absolutely solid for your team here in the early stages in Perfect Team. This is an awesome card, and he is in Perfect Team 24. All right, next up, let's go out to the AL West for our next card of the evening. And, oh man, this, if you like contact hitting, with maybe a little sprinkle of power hitting, this is the card for you right here. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 2000 Houston Astros, 94 overall right fielder for the Houston Astros live level 2 reward, Moise Alou. 90 BABIP, 69 power, 83 avoid K, 102 contact, 65 gap power, and 62 on the eye. Look at the splits against lefties. Whoo. Look at those lefty splits, ye mighty and despair. 88 BABIP, 91 power, 95 avoid K, 113 contact, 72 gap, and 47 on the eye. Nelly! This card is a lefty killer extraordinaire. Now, against righties, it's a little more mixed. Right here. 90 BABIP, 62 power, 79 avoid K, 98 contact, 63 gap power, but you're going to get a little bit more eye against righties at 67 overall there. You can play left field, you can play right field. Again, play being the operative word here. It's only 42 range, 60 error, .354 on the outfield arm. Yeah, his defense in 2000, let's just say it left a little bit to be desired. Because it was, and I quote, negative 1.8 defensive WAR, according to Baseball Reference. Negative 13 R field. Just, it was not good. Honestly, Moise Alou, looking at the stats here, never really was a good defender. Or at least, average defender. Career negative 9.6 defensive WAR. It was not pretty for him in the field. This is his worst defensive season by far, but in terms of offensive WAR, this is right up there. This is his fourth best offensive year in his career. Hit 355, 416, 632 with 30 homers, 114 RBI, and a 2.6 WAR. Did this all in 126 games. Had some, I believe he had some injury problems at the end of the season, I think. Let me double check here. Yeah, I think he was, I believe he was still recovering a little bit from an ACL injury in 1999 in that 2000 season. Not 100% sure right there. But yeah, this was his second of 3 seasons with 30 or more homers in a season. Career high in batting average with that 355 average. Led the NL, however, in ground into double plays. Not exactly a stat you want to lead it, but hopefully he won't ground into too many double plays for your team. 4 offensive wins above replacement. Pretty darn good. So there you go. Moise Alou, the Houston Astros live level 2 reward from the Houston Astros in Perfect Team 24. Let's go now to the division that the Houston Astros were previously in, the NL Central, for our next live level 2 individual team reward card. And we go to the St. Louis Cardinals. And we go to 95 overall right-handed starter from the 2006 World Series champion Cardinals team. Ugh, that pains me to say that. Chris Carpenter. Chris Carpenter, 72 stuff, 82 movements, 78 HR rating, 73 BABIP, 89 control. Some very even-ish splits here with Chris Carpenter. 72 stuff against both lefties and righties. 82 movement against both lefties and righties. Identical HR and P BABIP against both lefties and righties. Gonna get a little bit more control against righties by just 3 points, but this is some very even splits here. And this could be very valuable for a lot of teams early on here in Perfect Team 24 for those that finished the St. Louis Live Level 2 mission. 87 control against lefties, 90 control against righties, fastball, slider, curveball, changeup, and cutter combination in his pitching repertoire. 85 stamina and 86 on the hold runners. Ground ball pitcher. So if you have a good defense behind him, he's going to be pretty darn good. 92 to 94 on the velo. Now, 2006, a very good year for Chris Carpenter, all things considered. Probably, honestly, you could call this, he missed a couple of seasons after this with some injury problems, but 32 games starting in 2006, 15-8 with a 3.09 ERA, 7.5 strikeouts per 9 that year. One of his highest career K per 9 rates there. 1.7 walks per 9, which was, I believe, the second lowest of his career in a season. 144 ERA plus for Chris Carpenter that year. He was an all-star, finished 3rd in NL Cy Young Award voting behind Trevor Hoffman and Brandon Webb. Brandon Webb! People forget Brandon Webb won a Cy Young in 06. Led MLB in shutouts that year with 3 of them. Had 5 complete games as well. Led the National League in WHIP with a 1.069. He actually had one season that was better than that, which is scary to think about. Man, oh man, oh man. So Chris Carpenter, very good pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals in his career. Finished his career with them. He actually started out, I believe, in Toronto. Yeah, he did start out in Toronto. It was a little bit rocky there for a few seasons, but after moving to St. Louis in 2004 or so, really had a career renaissance. Became probably one of the best starters that the Cardinals have had in the 21st century, which is pretty darn cool. So there you go, Chris Carpenter from the 2006 St. Louis Cardinals. He is in Perfect Team 24. All right, and our final live level 2 reward that we're going to show off is from the Los Angeles Dodgers. And man, oh man, we talk about having a good defense behind Chris Carpenter. If you get this one, if you get our next card right here, oh, it's going to help you out quite a bit on defense. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 1947 Brooklyn Dodgers, it is 99 overall Wee Reese. Wee Reese, 70 BABIP, 56 power, 44 avoid K, 64 contact, 65 gap power, 101 on the eye, but you're not getting this guy for the bat. You're getting him for the defense. 95 range, 87 error, 91 arm, and 94 on the turn double play. This is probably going to be one of the better defending shortstops that we're going to see in the mission rewards for the live missions here. My goodness gracious. That's a 100 rating at shortstop, folks, and he's qualified to learn third base as well. Hitting wise, gonna get some interesting splits here. You're gonna get a little bit more power, a little bit more BABIP against righties, but you're gonna get a little bit more avoid K against lefties by about 13 points right here. 67 contact to 62 contact against righties. 72 gap power against lefties, 63 against righties. And this guy had a career high in walks this year in 1947. Let me just double check here actually. Nope, this wasn't his career high. He set that career high a couple years later, but still this was one of only 2 seasons in which he walked over 100 times in a season. So 101 eye, 94 against lefties, 103 against righties. Not bad at all. 32 speed, 33 stealing, 58 on the base running. So he's not really, too much of a threat to steal. 284, 414, 426 on the slash line for Wee Reese in 1947. 12 homers, 73 RBI, 5.8 wins above replacement. He was an all-star this year, 8th in National League MVP. Led the National League in walks with 104 of them. 29 intentional walks. 29 intentional walks, which led all of Major League Baseball that year. He had a career best slugging percentage this year, and this 1947 season, if you recall, was the first one in which Jackie Robinson was on the Dodgers, and Wee Reese was one of those influential people that really helped Jackie Robinson kind of transition to the major leagues from Negro League baseball and the minor leagues, and really was one of Jackie Robinson's, I guess you could call him friends, on those 1947 Dodgers teams right there, which was pretty darn cool. Pretty darn cool. So there you go. Wee Reese from the 1947 Brooklyn Dodgers, the LA Dodgers live level 2 reward in Perfect Team 24. All right, so there's a little bit of a look at those live level 2 rewards. Let's show you the whole list, shall we? And I'll go ahead and take myself off the screen here for just a little bit. So here's the complete list of live level 2 team rewards. Boston's going to get relief pitcher Ellis Kinder from 1955. Yankees going to get Whitey Ford. Rays are going to get Carl Crawford from 2010. Chris Hoyles from the 92 Orioles. It's going to be the reward for Baltimore there. Dave Stieb, like we saw earlier, for Toronto. Detroit gonna get 76 overall third baseman Brandon Inge. Which pains me to say that Brandon Inge is probably the best Tigers reward from the live missions. Because the Tigers probably are gonna stink this year. Cleveland's gonna get Louis Tiant. White Sox getting Dick Allen, like you saw earlier. Kansas City getting Frank White, second baseman there. Minnesota is going to get left fielder Goose Goslin. Oakland's going to get Al Simmons. Texas getting Mark Teixeira from 2005. Angels getting 2005 Vladimir Guerrero. Houston getting Moise Alou, like you saw earlier. Seattle getting Brandon League from 2011. In terms of the NL, Atlanta getting 2009 Javier Vazquez, who was snubbed for a Hall of Fame ballot. Just saying. Philadelphia getting 1932 Chuck Klein. Washington getting Hubie Brooks. Miami getting Josh Johnson, like you saw earlier. Mets getting 1988 David Cone, 98 overall pitcher right there. That should be a fun card. Pittsburgh getting Harvey Haddix. Chicago Cubs getting Joe Tinker. Then it's Chris Carpenter for St. Louis, like you saw earlier. Ted Kluszewski, 86 overall first baseman for Cincinnati. Milwaukee getting catcher Jim Sundberg from 1984. Dodgers, like you just saw, Wee Reese. Colorado, Jeff Cirillo from 2001. Arizona getting J.J. Putz. Hey, we talked about him a little bit earlier. San Francisco getting Gary Lucas, and San Diego getting third baseman Randy Rady. So not a bad list of names here for those live level 2 rewards. And yes, big clue, he hated sleeves like nothing else. Alrighty, so there you go. There's the live level 2 rewards. Now let's get to the meat of the rewards. Let's get to some of the division rewards and the complete rewards as well. So let's go ahead and start with the live level 1 division rewards. And we're going to go division by division. We're going to go AL East, AL Central, AL West, then NL East, NL Central, NL West, and then the topper for completing all of those missions. So let's go ahead and get started with the live level 1 reward for completing the AL East live level 1 rewards. And it's a name that a lot of y'all know, probably, made famous for a lot of things, including a song by Simon and Garfunkel. Ladies and gentlemen, 94 overall center fielder from the 1949 New York Yankees, Joe DiMaggio. 78 BABIP, 79 power, 69 avoid K, 91 contact, 73 gap, and 90 on the eye. Very good against left-handed pitching. 94 BABIP, 86 power, 72 avoid K, 107 contact, 70 gap, and 91 on the eye. Where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? Our nation turns its lonely eyes to you. Woo, woo, woo. 73 BABIP, 77 power, 68 avoid K, 85 contact, 73 gap, and 90 eye against right-handed pitching. Center field defense, it's not bad. It's just not really, ideal, but could be good early on for center field. Maybe a DH, potentially. 82 range, 87 error, 52 on the outfield arm. Speed, stealing, and base running. Don't pay attention to that speed up there. 13 speed, 6 stealing, 5 on the base running. And don't have him bunt either. Just don't. Just let this dude swing away and everything's going to be fine. All right. 1949 for Joe DiMaggio, cut short because of a early season foot injury in which he missed 65 games. Goodness gracious. 346, 459, 596, still performed at an elite level. 14 homers, 67 RBI, 178 OPS plus in just 76 games, y'all. That's darn good for just 76 games. He was an all-star in 1949 despite missing 65 games at the start of the year. Finished 12th in the MVP vote. Had 55 walks to just 18 strikeouts, so kind of gives you a little bit of that basis behind the eye rating there, I guess. Heck, Joe DiMaggio was an all-star in every single season that he actually played baseball, which is pretty darn crazy. So there you go. Joe DiMaggio, 94 overall reward for finishing off the live level 1 missions for the AL East. He is in Perfect Team 24. All right, next up, let's go to the AL Central. And you want to talk about, now, Joe DiMaggio, not exactly a premier defensive outfielder, but our next player. If you want some defense out in left field, this is your guy right here. 93 overall left fielder from the 2011 Kansas City Royals. The AL Central Live Level 1 reward is Alex Gordon. Alex Gordon, 80 BABIP, 59 power, 56 avoid K, 80 contact, 84 gap power, and 68 on the eye. A little bit better against righties than he is against lefties. 83 BABIP, 60 power, 60 avoid K, 84 contact, 87 gap, and 68 eye against righty. But look at that defense out there in left field. 85 range, 92 error, and 99 on the outfield arm. Can only play left field, however, so just saying. 61 speed, 59 stealing, 67 base running, and folks, this year, 2011, for Alex Gordon was the breakout Alex Gordon year right here. 303, 376, 502 with 23 homers, 87 RBI, and 7.3 wins above replacement. This is the year he won his first Gold Glove, had some votes for AL MVP, had career highs in homers, RBIs, and OPS, led the American League in outfield assists defensively with 20 of them. That's pretty darn good. This was the year that Alex Gordon really announced his presence after, Alex Gordon, he was kind of on the outside looking in for a few seasons there in Kansas City. He was a prospect, came up playing third base. Admittedly, kind of stunk a little bit those first few years. Went down to the minors, came back up, performed very well in 2011 in those 151 games. He had a great spring training in 2011, made the team, carried over that success into the regular season. He had 45 doubles that year, which really helped him out a little bit. And he set a career high in slugging percentage with a .502 because of that this year in 2011. Went on to hit 51 doubles in 2012, which was just absolutely insane. But 2011 was when Alex Gordon really announced his presence, and hopefully he can announce his presence in your lineup in Perfect Team 24. And like Spore said in the chat, Alex Gordon, a good reminder not to judge prospects too quickly. Just saying. So there you go, Alex Gordon. The AL Central Live Level 1 reward is in Perfect Team 24. All right, to the AL West we go for our next divisional live Level 1 reward. And we go to the California Angels for this one. Back to the 70s we go. And it is 95 overall left-handed starter Frank Tanana. Frank Tanana, 99 stuff, 76 movement, 71 home runs, 78 pitcher BABIP, and 80 on the control. Some interesting splits here for Frank Tanana. 100 stuff, 76 movement, 79 control against righties. Lefties, 94 stuff, 78 movement, 85 control. Going to get a little bit more HR rating against lefties, but a little tiny bit less BABIP against lefties. However, going to get some more BABIP against righties as well. 79 BABIP to 75 for lefties. Control, about a 6-point difference between righties and lefties there. 85 for lefties, 79 for righties. Fastball, curveball, changeup. Comment right here. 77 stamina, 58 on the hold runners. Now Frank Tanana, this is early career, early-ish career. Frank Tanana here. 15-9 in the 1977 season, a 2.54 ERA, 7.6 strikeouts per 9, 2.3 walks per 9, and a 1.54 ERA plus, the best mark of his career. He was an all-star that year, finished 9th in Cy Young voting after finishing 3rd the year before. Led the American League in ERA and ERA plus that year. Led MLB in shutouts with 7 of them in 20 complete games. Finished 3rd in the American League in strikeouts behind, if I do recall correctly, Dennis Leonard and Nolan Ryan. That's some high company there for Frank Tanana. Tanana, 241 and a third innings that year in 31 starts, 20 complete games, 7 shutouts, not bad at all. So there you go. Frank Tanana, the AL West Live Level 1 reward. Big stuff. Some decent-ish movement, some pretty decent control here. Not a bad pitching card to have in your rotation early on in the cycle. So there you go. Frank Tanana from the 77 Angels is in. Perfect Team 24. To the National League we go. And if you thought we were just going to have one member of the Alou family in here, well, you were wrong. 1966 first baseman from the Atlanta Braves, 96 overall, Felipe Alou is the NL East Live Level 1 reward. 71 BABIP, 72 power, 97 of OEK, 92 contact, 65 gap, and 29 on the eye. Some very, very interesting splits here, especially in the eye category. Almost that is a 21-point split in eye between lefties and righties. My, oh my. Gonna get a little bit better of OEK against righties, but a little bit more gap power against lefties. A little bit more power against righties as well. Some very interesting splits here with Felipe Alou. 32 speed, 15 stealing, 78 on the base running. He can play left field. He can play center field. He can play first base. Well, he can play first base a little bit. Is also qualified to learn right field as well. 60 infield range, 34 error, 43 arm, 36 on the turn double play. In the outfield, he has 74 range, 73 error, and 76 on the arm. He's free swinging while going for a walk with the family. Yeah, pretty much. Let's just say the Alou family did not meet a pitch that they did not like. So, just saying. Felipe Alou, 327, 361, 533 on the slash line in this 1966 season. 31 homers, 74 RBI, in 6.2 wins above replacement. He was an all-star in 1966, finished 5th in MVP voting. This was his second all-star year, first one since 1962. Led MLB in at-bats and in runs and in hits with 218 of them. Also had career highs in homers and OPS plus with 142. Led the National League in total bases as well with 355 of them. He was just all over the place in 1966, and hopefully he'll be a pretty good, solid addition to your lineup in Perfect Team 24 as the NL East Live Level 1 reward. Yeah, he's solid in the outfield. Very solid defender in the outfield, unlike another Alou we saw earlier on in the evening. Just saying. All right, so there you go. Felipe Alou, the NL East Live Level 1 reward is in Perfect Team PT24. All right, next up we go to the NL Central's live level 1 reward. And man, oh man, you know, we've seen a lot of power hitters tonight. We've seen a lot of guys that can take some walks. This guy is not one of them. This guy, if you want some slap hitting from your infield, this guy is it. From the 1977 Pittsburgh Pirates, the NL Central live level 1 reward is 93 overall, Rennie Stennett. Rennie Stennett with 80 BABIP, 24 power, 102 on the avoid K, 88 contact, 55 gap, and 35 on the eye. Look at the splits against lefties right here. 106 BABIP, 32 power, 108 avoid K, a 116 contact, 59 gap, and 34 eye. Kind of serviceable against righties. You're going to get 100 avoid K, 72 BABIP, 21 power, 79 contact. A little bit there. Speed, stealing, and base running, not bad. 82 speed, 52 stealing, 63 base running, but some pretty good second base defense early on in this game. 84 range, 65 error, 62 arm, and 78 on the turn double play. Rennie Stennett, 336, 376, 430 on the year in 77. 5 homers, 51 RBI, 28 stolen bases, and 3.3 wins above replacement. Had some votes for NL MVP in 77. Had a career high in stolen bases with that 28 mark. Second highest OPS plus in his career with 115. And this was the best offensive WAR in his career with 2.9. So there you go. Rennie Stennett from the 1977 Pittsburgh Pirates. Very good contact hitting second baseman. Some pretty decent defense over there at second base. In perfect team 24. All right. And the final live level 1 divisional reward comes from the NL West. And let's finally go. You know what? We haven't seen a catcher yet tonight. That streak ends right now. Because your NL West live level 1 reward is 2016 95 overall Buster Posey from the San Francisco Giants. 60 BABIP, 48 power, 86 avoid K, 69 contact, 71 gap, 67 eye. A little bit better against lefties than he is against righties, but there's the defense. 95 catcher ability, 91 catcher arm. Very good defensive catcher right here for your early game here. 102 position rating over at catcher. He can play some first base as well. 56 rating over there at first base. Some pretty solid splits. A little bit better against lefties. 64 BABIP, 54 power, 87 avoid K, 75 contact, 71 gap, 83 eye. Some discrepancies against righties here. 62 eye, so about 21 point difference there. About an 8-point difference in contact, mainly due to the lower power, lower BABIP, but just 1 point lower on avoid Ks against righties. 32 speed, 68 stealing, 37 on the base running. 2016, he hit 288, 362, 434 with 14 homers, 80 RBI, 4.9 wins above replacement. He was an all-star this year, finished 14th in NL MVP. He had a few votes here and there, but oddly enough, this was the first season that he won a Gold Glove at the catcher position. Very, very interesting kind of statistic right there for Buster Posey. That year, in terms of defensive wins above replacement, that 2016 season was his best. Second best was a 1.8 in 2015, which isn't bad at all. Set career highs in runs with 82 and, like we said earlier, defensive WAR with 1.9 D-WAR right there. Buster Posey, very good defensive catcher. He's going to be very valuable behind the plate for a lot of teams early on, more than likely. Just saying. So there you go. Buster Posey from the 2016 San Francisco Giants is in. Perfect team. 24. Alrighty. So, there's the divisional live level 1 rewards. And if you complete all of those missions, you will get the live level 1 complete reward. And let's go back over to the hot corner for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, the reward for completing the live level 1 missions is 100 overall third baseman Ken Caminiti from the 1996 San Diego Padres. Another lefty masher here. 68 BABIP, 82 power, 71 avoid K, 85 contact, 74 gap, 76 eye. But look at those splits against lefties. 64 BABIP, 91 power, 92 avoid K, 92 contact, 80 gap power, and 60 on the eye. Now, against righties, he has some interesting splits as well. 69 BABIP, 79 power, 64 avoid K, 82 contact, 72 gap, and 81 eye. So you're getting a little bit more eye against righties than you are against lefties, even though he's more of a power hitter against lefties. Very interesting stuff there. Defensively over at third base, pretty good stuff. 82 range, 55 error, 88 on the infield arm, and 80 on the turn double play. 35 speed, 55 stealing, and 69 on the base running. 1996, a breakout year for Ken Caminiti. 326, 408, 621 with 40 homers, 130 RBI. His lone season with those numbers. 7.6 wins above replacement for the 1996 National League MVP. He was an all-star this year as well. Won a gold glove over at the hot corner. Won a silver slugger award as well. Pretty good stuff. In terms of his splits, because I think this probably deserves a little bit of explanation. Ken Caminiti, let's take a look at his batting splits during that 1996 season. So against lefties, he hit in 90 games, 187 plate appearances against lefties. He hit 358, 412, 721 with 15 homers, 46 RBI. Compare that. So that's an 1133 OPS plus against lefties. You look at his stats against righties. 312, 406, 577 slash line, 25 homers, 84 RBI, which is still pretty solid. 983 OPS there, but he was significantly better against lefties than he was against righties when you look at it from an OPS standpoint. Even though it was pretty darn close. But that's pretty much a 200 difference right there. 200 point difference. So there you go. Ken Caminiti from the 1996 San Diego Padres in Perfect Team 24. So that's what you get for completing the level 1 completes. Now let's go up a level. Let's go to level 2. And let's go to the divisional rewards from the live level 2s. So let's start over back in the AL East. And we start off with a reliever card here from the Boston Red Sox, the closer for their 2004 World title. And that is 98 overall, Keith Foulke. Keith Foulke, 86 stuff, 78 movement, 98 control with 68 HR and a 97 P BABIP right here. Big splits right here with righties and lefties here. My, oh my. 92 stuff, 71 movement, 58 home run, 104 BABIP. And 103 on the control. Slider, changeup, sinker combo here. Gonna get a little bit more homer prevention against lefties, but a lot more BABIP against righties here. So, pretty splitty card, all things considered. 61 on the hold, runners, extreme fly ball guy, 90 to 92 on the velocity. 72 games, 83 innings pitched in the 2004 season. A 2.17 ERA, 32 saves, 8.6 strikeouts per 9, and 1.6 walks per 9 for Keith Foulke. Once again, closer for the 04 Red Sox World Series title after coming over from Oakland in that 2004 season. Tied for third highest WAR season in his career with a 3.5 and a 247 BABIP against, which for a reliever, not bad. Not bad at all. So there you go. Keith Foulke, pretty good stuff, pretty good control. Movement's going to be a little bit interesting using this guy. So there you go. Keith Foulke from the 04 Red Sox. The reward for the AL East Live Level 2 missions. He is in Perfect Team 24. To the AL Central we go. We got ourselves a pitcher coming up for y'all here. A starting pitcher from the 1971 Chicago White Sox, lefty, 95 overall, Wilbur Wood. Wilbur Wood, 75 stuff, 81 movement, 72 home run rating, 92 pitcher BABIP, and 93 control, a knuckleballer as the AL Central Live Level 2 reward. 100 rating on the knuckleball, baby. Gotta love them knuckleballers. Fastball, curveball as well in his repertoire. And some pretty solid splits. Not a whole lot of split to really talk about here. 75 stuff against righties, 74 against lefties, 84 movement against lefties, 80 against righties, home run rating, 76 against lefties, 71 against righties. Pitcher BABIP, only a 2-point difference, 91 and 93 there. Control, only a 2-point difference as well, 92 and 94. That pitcher BABIP, pretty darn good at that 92 rating. 98 stamina, 22 on the hold runners, so he's going to be challenged a little bit at holding runners. But Wilbur Wood, 1971 season, if I recall correctly, kind of a late-ish career. Wilbur Wood here, kind of in the middle of his time with Chicago here. But this was his first 20-win season, 22-13, with a sparkling 1.91 ERA in his first season as really a full-time starting pitcher. 334 innings pitched that year, 5.7 strikeouts per 9, 1.7 walks per 9, a 189 ERA plus. He was an all-star in that 1971 season. His first all-star selection at the age of 29, finished third in the AL Cy Young voting, 9th in AL MVP, and led the American League in ERA plus with a 189 mark. That's pretty darn good right there. 210 strikeouts as well, which was the high point of his career. 22 complete games, 7 of them shutouts. Even threw in a save there for old time's sake. Wilbur Wood. EVC with some facts in the chat here. They actually tried to trade Wilbur Wood before the 71 season, but because of an injury to another starting pitcher, caused him to be put in the rotation. So there you go. Wilbur Wood, very good pitcher right here. Should be a solid early game pitcher here from the Chicago White Sox. He is in Perfect Team 24. All right, next up, let's go out to the AL West. And you know what? How's about another Houston Astro tonight? Ladies and gentlemen, the center fielder from the 1972 Houston Astros, your AL West Live Level 2 reward. It is Cesar Cedeno. 98 overall, 78 BABIP, 65 power, 75 avoid K, 87 contact, 93 gap, and 64 on the eye. A little bit better against lefties than he is against righties, but it's not by a whole big margin here. 6-point difference in BABIP, 6-point difference in power, about an 8-point difference in avoid K. Even contact rating, though. 4-point difference in gap power, 2-point difference in eye. Defensively, solid. 79 rating in center field, 84 range, 77 error, 79 on the outfield arm. Qualified to learn left and right. He's also qualified to play first base. Don't. Just don't play this guy at first. You don't want to see the infield ratings. They are not good. Just saying. 96 speed, 82 stealing, 91 on the base running as well. Cesar Cedeno, a solid 1972 season, early career. Cesar Cedeno here, only his second real full season, I would say, playing over 100 games. Hit 320, 385, 530. Wait a minute, hang on, 72? Ah, shoot, I grabbed the wrong year in the stat column. Oh, gracious. Okay, so here was actual 1972 stats here because I screwed up. I was looking at the wrong line. So 1972, he had 320, 385, 537, 22 homers, 82 RBI, 55 stolen bases, 39 doubles, which led the Major League Baseball. Finished 6th in MVP, was an All-Star that year, Gold Glover as well. Pretty solid season for Cesar Cedeno. Yeah, that's a bit better. That was a bit better. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Apologies for that. For the mishap there on the stats. But you know what? Solid card right here. Early on here in the cycle. Cesar Cedeno from the 72 Astros. The AL West Live Level 2 reward. All right. Next up, let's go to the National League. And let's go to the National League East, where we have a guy who's maybe more well known for his time with the Red Sox, maybe well known for his time with the Cardinals a little bit. But you know what? He had one season in Atlanta, which was pretty doggone great. 2004 Atlanta Brave, 99 overall, J.D. Drew, the NL East Live Level 2 reward. 73 BABIP, 73 power, 54 avoid K, 79 contact, 65 gap power, and 106 on the eye. Center field and right field, he can play. 77 range, 81 outfield, 9 error, 91 arm as well. Also a Dodgers legend, by the way. 43 speed, 74 stealing, and 54 on the base running. 305, 436, 569 on that absolutely insane 2004 season for Mr. Drew. 31 homers, career high, 93 RBI, second highest in his career. 8.3 wins above replacement, far and away his best season of his career. Finished 6th in the National League MVP vote. Career highs in homers and walks. He had 118 walks this year. 118 walks, y'all. This was his lone season with over 110 walks, let alone over 90 walks. This guy barely even sniffed 100 walks in subsequent seasons. The second highest he ever got, 89 in 2006. Goodness gracious. And the only reason, and he was actually traded to the Braves prior to the 2004 season for some guy named Adam Wainwright. Just saying. Just saying. So there you go. J.D. Drew from the Atlanta Braves. 2004 is the NL East Live Level 2 reward in Perfect Team 24. All right, next up, you know what? Let's go back in the day quite a bit for our next one. From the NL Central, and I don't know if Gorgo's still here. I see he's still here in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. We got a Cincinnati Red, an early Cincinnati Red for our next reward here. The NL Central Live Level 2 reward from the 1903 Cincinnati Reds, 96 overall, Mike Donlin. Mike Donlin, 96 overall, 94 BABIP, 64 power, 62 avoid K, 95 contact, 76 gap, and 90 on the eye. A little bit better against righties than he is against lefties, with 95 BABIP, 66 power, 62 avoid K, 96 contact, 78 gap, and 92 on the eye. Defensively, it's a little bit middling. Definitely a left field kind of profile here. Can play left, can play right. Technically qualified to learn center, first base as well. 61 range, 56 error, and 59 on the outfield arm. 71 speed, 74 stealing, 72 on the base running. So not a bad guy with the legs as well. Mike Donlin, 1903 season, hit 351, 425, 16. 7 homers, 67 RBI, 26 stolen base that year with 4.4 wins above replacement. Mike Donlin, very good Cincinnati Red back in those days. He was in the top 5 in many offensive categories in the 1903 season. He finished 3rd in batting average in the National League that year and had a career high in walks with 56. Not bad for that time period in baseball. So there you go, Mike Donlin, the NL Central Live Level 2 reward. Wait, I thought I read that Gorgo founded the Cincinnati Red teams back in the 1800s. Oh, gracious. Oh, gracious. All right, so there you go, your NL Central Live Level 2 reward, Mike Donlin in Perfect Team 24. All right, we have one more live level 2 reward for y'all, and it is from the NL West. We go back to the LA Dodgers for this one, and one of the better right-handed pitchers, honestly, probably one of the best righty pitchers that the Dodgers have had all time, really. And it comes from the 1960s, ladies and gentlemen, 98 overall righty, from the 1962 Dodgers, it is Don Drysdale. 72 stuff, 94 movement, 88 home run rating, 79 BABIP, and 81 control. Splits favor righties more than it does lefties here. 71 stuff, 96 movement, 91 homer rating, 79 BABIP, and 84 on the control. Fastball, slider, curveball, changeup combo here. 93 stamina, 72 on the hold runners. Now 1962. Oh man, Don Drysdale was absolutely electric. Kind of a, definitely one of the best seasons of his career in that 1962 season. 25-9 record for the second place in the National League Dodgers from that 1962 season. 2.83 ERA, 6.6 strikeouts per 9, 2.2 walks per 9, a 128 ERA plus. Pretty darn good. He was the 1962 Cy Young Award winner, finished 5th in National League MVP that year, was also an All-Star, his 3rd selection of his career that year. This was the first year that he won 20 games, one of only 2 seasons in which he did so, the other being 1965. Led MLB in wins, strikeouts, games started with 41 of them, and in innings pitched with 314 and a third. He also, and that strikeout number, 232 strikeouts, faced 1,289 batters that year, a whip of 1.113. Pretty darn good stuff for Don Drysdale. 0.6 home runs per 9 as well, so that's where you see kind of that high home run rating as well, that homer prevention rating right there. So there you go, 1962 John Drysdale from the LA Dodgers in Perfect Team 24 as the NL West Live Level 2 reward. All right, so if you complete all of the live level 2 rewards, if you've completed the level 1 rewards as well, Now, let me double check something here. Make sure I'm not really missing anything of consequence here. And I don't think I am. I'm pretty darn sure I'm not missing anything. All right, I am not missing anything. Good. If you complete the live level 2 missions, ooh, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a darn good picture for you right here. One of the best lefty starters of the 2000s, all right? This guy, you're probably going to see for quite a little bit here in the early cycle. Ladies and gentlemen, your complete live level 2 reward is 100 overall from the 2005 Minnesota Twins, Johan Santana. 97 stuff, 91 movement, 90 control, 84 home run rating, 84 P BABIP. Goodness gracious. Fastball, slider, change-up combo, 103 stuff against lefties, 86 movement, 77 homer rating, 89 BABIP, 94 control against lefties. And against righties, 95 stuff, 93 movement, 86 home run, 82 BABIP, and 89 on the control. This is definitely going to be the pitcher that everyone's going to try to go for early on here in the cycle. And especially that control. That control is going to be key early on here in the cycle. 90 control overall, 94 against lefties, 89 against righties. 90 stamina, 98 on the hold runners. 98 on the hold runners. That's no small potatoes right there. 16-7 in that 2005 season, a 2.87 ERA, 9.2 strikeouts per nine. This guy was a strikeout artist. 1.7 walks per nine, a 1.55 ERA plus. He was an all-star. Finished third in AL Cy Young voting, which, my goodness, 2005 for Johan Santana. Who won the Cy Young in that 05 season? Bartolo Colon. Bartolo Colon won in 2005. I don't know. Johan Santana, I think he had a better year despite being on, the Minnesota Twins. He led MLB in strikeouts, 238 of them. Had a 280 FIP. Led the American League in WHIP with a .971. He led the AL in ERA plus with a 155. Led in strikeouts per nine. How did this guy not win Cy Young? I don't know. Maybe it's because he won in 04 and 06. I don't know. But man, he got robbed. Utter travesty. Like, God love Bartolo. All right? God love Bartolo. He won 21 games, which, wins. Wins. Nah. This guy should have won it. Johan Santana from the 05 Minnesota Twins. Your complete live level 2 reward. My goodness. This is one hell of a card right here, y'all. There you go. So there you go. The live mission rewards that you will see starting tomorrow in Perfect Team 24. My goodness. This is some good stuff right here, y'all. I can't wait to get started tomorrow on Perfect Team 24. This is going to be fun, y'all. I will see you in the game. I might do a stream on my personal channel tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Probably, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So, just a reminder. here's what to expect with the 24 launch. Just a reminder. So, at 2 to 3 a.m. Eastern Time, all the Perfect Team 24 beta teams will be reset, and simulation servers will be shut down. 7 a.m., the system's going to be reopened. Perfect Point purchases will be available at that time as well. Game is expected to launch at 9 a.m. Eastern worldwide on Steam, Epic, and for FastSpring Web Store customers. First entry pool leagues will be created right around noon Eastern. So, there you go. We're going to have, and it looks like we're going to have 3 hours streaming on the mothership tomorrow starting at noon Eastern. So stay tuned for that as well. That's going to be fun time. So we're going to have wall-to-wall coverage with our affiliates. We're going to have some streams here on the Park Development's Twitch channel. Tomorrow is OOTP Christmas, y'all. I'm looking forward to it. Hope you are too. I will see you back here next time for This Week in Perfect Team. I'll probably be doing my stream on my channel tomorrow sometime. Stay tuned. Have a great day, everybody. Rob Tomlinson, DishNet34, signing out. Enjoy tomorrow, y'all. Have a great night.